The International Criminal Court calls Libya's Muammar Gaddafi a fugitive. The ICC has charged Gaddafi with crimes against humanity. But the relatively low number of fatalities during demonstrations just before the armed revolt against Gaddafi's government pale in comparison to the widespread murder and ethnic cleansing of black Africans, including black Libyans, by NATO-backed rebels. In terms of the mandate of the International Criminal Court, the rebels' crimes against black people may be far more serious than those that have been leveled against Gaddafi. We sought out the opinion of Francis Boyle, professor of international law at the University of Illinois in Champaign.
Well, that's correct. And you'll note the United States and France and Britain were very careful in their resolution of referral to the International Criminal Court to exclude all the crimes that they might commit beforehand. So this is really a joke and a fraud, and indeed the ICC has become nothing but an imperialist tool by white racist Western colonial states to go after tin pot dictators in Africa of color whose crimes are minimal compared to the monstrous crimes committed by the United States, Britain, France, not only in Libya but elsewhere.
Would the United States, Britain, France, the whole of NATO, be liable for ethnic cleansing committed by their Libyan surrogates?
Certainly under the principle of command responsibility, yeah, I would think so. But again, it's not going to happen at the International Criminal Court. They knew in getting the Security Council resolutions, and we've discussed this before, they were just going to bomb the dickens out of Libya and exterminate Libyans. And so they shrewdly removed themselves from the jurisdiction of the ICC for anything they do in Libya. So there's really nothing that can be done there at the International Criminal Court. It's total hypocrisy and double standards, and just shows that despite its promise when it was founded, the ICC has just become another imperialist tool for these white Western racist colonial genocidal powers to be used against people of color in the third world, and now especially in Africa.
What legal forums are available?
As it stands now, if Colonel Gaddafi could appoint me their permanent representative and ambassador at United Nations headquarters in New York, I could try to sue these states at the International Court of Justice in The Hague and get a temporary restraining order for them to cease and desist from bombing Libya. Right now, Libya does not have a UN ambassador. The United States government has illegally prevented Libya from sending an ambassador over here in violation of the UN headquarters agreement. So as it stands now, unfortunately, nothing can be done. I regret to say that lawsuits here in the United States are a waste of time. Ramsey Clark and I already sued Reagan, Thatcher, and the rest of them for bombing Libya back in 1986, and we lost, and Ramsey was sanctioned, which is outrageous.
This seems to be another trophy in the responsibility to protect exhibition after Haiti. Is responsibility to protect a recognized legal doctrine?
No, it isn't. As a matter of fact, if you read the General Assembly resolution on responsibility to protect, they make it quite clear it had to conform with the terms of the United Nations Charter. So what we're seeing here is just total baloney, not only in Libya, but also in Haiti. As you know, in Haiti, the United States government just decided, under Bush Jr., just decided to invade Haiti. That was it. Their consent wasn't asked for at all. They just invaded Haiti. And now the poor Haitians continue to suffer from this.
Colonel Gaddafi is described in the corporate media and by Western governments as a fugitive. Legally, what is his status?
Technically, right now, Colonel Gaddafi is the head of state of a UN member state, which is also a member of the African Union. And he is protected from murder and assassination under the New York Convention. And until that situation is changed, that is his status. The African Union has refused to recognize this rebel government in Libya. And as of today, the rebel government in Libya does not represent Libya at the United Nations either. So until there are changes here, he's still the head of state. He abjured any title to become president. He set up the Jamahiriya state of the masses, which everyone has made fun of, but I've been over in Libya 3 times, spent a sum total of 5 weeks over there. I've seen the Jamahiriya system in operation. I think it's a pretty good system to bring together a country that effectively consists of Bedouin tribes, and it sort of had operated on that principle. So Gaddafi's technical title is leader of the revolution, but he's still head of state.
The United States is always talking about the international community. I thought the African Union was also part of the international community and especially relevant to Africa.
That is correct. Under the terms of the United Nations Charter, the African Union is the relevant regional organization set up under Chapter 8 to deal with the entire situation in Libya. And the United States and the NATO powers have completely illegally displaced and supplanted the African Union, the role that they are supposed to play, and simply arrogated to themselves the power to intervene here. The African Union, as you know, has a roadmap for peace in Libya that's simply been illegally brushed aside by the United States and the NATO powers. So it's just a shameless exercise of raw, naked, brutal force by these Western colonial imperial powers. Look at it this way. NATO here, this is the axis of genocide. Look what the United States has done to its Indians, Canada. Look what Belgium and France have done to Africans. We can go down the list. Turkey to the Armenians, the Dutch to Asians in Indonesia. If you just go down the list of these NATO powers, they've committed mass extermination. Germany, give me a break. Italy exterminated half the population of Libya. I was over there, one of my trips, and they had a museum dedicated to documenting the Italian Holocaust against the Libyans. And it reminded me a bit of Vad Yashem over there in Jerusalem, though on a smaller scale. And I spent a day there with the curator going through all the documents and pictures and everything. And at the end of the day, I said, so in other words, the Italians committed genocide on you? And he quietly said yes. So all these Western colonial white racist imperial powers are genocidaires. They've committed genocide before, whether in Libya or Africa or elsewhere in the world. And it's just a sick joke and a demented fraud to believe that they are over there under some bogus doctrine of responsibility to protect or humanitarian intervention. They are over there to steal all of Libya's oil and gas, and in addition to reestablish military bases, Western military bases in Libya that they can use to control and dominate all of North Africa, the southern Mediterranean, and then to project more power further south into sub-Saharan Africa, Black Africa.
One wonders if that museum to the Italian Holocaust in Libya will survive under the new NATO order.
Certainly, if Italy gets in there, they'll destroy it, because Colonel Gaddafi had threatened legal action against Italy over the Italian genocide against the Libyans. But then there was a settlement with Italy on the whole matter, a payment of money and this, that, and the other thing, which Berlusconi then recently and illegally repudiated. Technically, sure, Libya could sue Italy at the International Court of Justice for genocide. So certainly the Italians are going to want to go in there and destroy that museum.
The Americans and Europeans seized Libya's assets abroad and have been dribbling them to their surrogates, their Libyan surrogates, ever since. Was anything legal in that ongoing operation?
No, it was just outright theft of the sovereign wealth of Libya and the Libyan people. There's no question about it. They had no authorization from the Security Council to do any of this. So just massive thievery by the United States and, again, these Western colonial imperial powers.
It's even speculated that the Europeans and possibly the United States might pay themselves back for all the bombs, the $1 billion it's cost them to invade Libya, by taking Libya's money.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they've done on Iraq, as you know. They destroyed Iraq and then said, well, don't worry about it. We can just get the money back from Iraq. But look, they already stole this money, and they're not going to give it back. They might give a small portion of it to the rebel government, but they're just going to steal it outright.
Dr. Francis Boyle, professor of international law, speaking from the University of Illinois.